Welcome to this week's episode here at FWX on the adventure van build. Solar panels are on. This was a late job Thursday. Me and Jordan stopped back. We've got them bolted to the vehicle, then bolted to the panels. They're not going anywhere. Everything's watertight. That is the roof works complete. The wires have been pulled through, which you've seen. That brings us on to the, what we're going to call it, electrical management system. The big power pack that we're building that will go underneath the passenger seat. That's what we're going to move on to, because we want to get all the wires connected so we can start powering everything up and doing all the tests we need to do, from the solar panel to the inverter to the battery charger, all the way through to the projector feed that it needs to power the projector up. A lot going on this week. We had a slow week last week due to the fabrication process behind us, very busy behind us, so our attention's come from the adventure van over there, but we're going to bring it all back onto this vehicle this week because we want to make a massive dent into the list of jobs we need to do. First thing we're going to move on to is the electrical management system that we've custom built for this vehicle. Once that's in and tested up, we're then going to move on to the floor, get it bolted in and get the final wooden floor fitted. Fingers crossed we can complete that this week. If not, we'll fail, but we don't fail here, we'll just make things happen. So stay tuned, we're going to move on to the electrical management system now. Solar panels complete, I'm happy with them. Couldn't get any more watts on the roof if I tried. So you've seen the solar panels, they're going to just look after themselves now, which is great. We've done a proper job on them. They're going to give us free electricity. Well, not free, because it cost a little bit to put them on there, but now they're on, they're forgotten about. It's going to generate nice electricity in the sun and in some dull areas as well, which is really good. Due to the technology now that solar panels have brought out, you don't have to be in direct sunlight to gain any electrical current. So moving on to what have we put in the van. First thing is the battery. The battery is in the van. Now I've done a bit of research on this battery. It has got its own Bluetooth module inside of it. It's also got its own heating system. I'll show you nearer to it, but I can show you on my phone now. Basically, if it gets too cold, it will warm itself up, because lithium batteries have got to be at a certain temperature for them to operate and turn on. That's really good footage. I was gonna get the Victron 300 amp shunt, which goes in between the negative cable of your leisure battery. That then joins to the app, which shows you the current and voltage and everything else. We don't need that. I'm not going to spend the 80 quid on it, because I'd rather use the manufacturer's app, which we've got on our phone. So that is in. We've already briefly talked about this. DC to DC charger, that is taking the vehicle's engine current, pulling it through into the leisure battery at a stable rate, keeping it charged every time we have the vehicle on or on the move. Then we've got the solar charger. Not much to say about that. That brings in the current, does what it needs to do with it, make it steady, fire it back into the battery. That's self-sufficient. Both of them have apps on Victron, which I'll show you in a little while. Then we've got 800 watt pure sine wave inverter. That's got one 240 plug socket in. That hasn't got a built-in Bluetooth, but you don't need it. It's got a toggle switch on the back. It's got off, on or eco mode. We can just leave it on if we want, but I am just going to keep it off when we're not using it, because there's no need. Then we have got this, which is basically a 60 amp breaker box for the solar panel. So if we're doing any works on the vehicle, we can isolate the solar direct from the wires coming into the vehicle. That's been fitted. Lastly, is what we've talked about before, is the projector. We will move on to that later on when everything's powered up, and we can show you how that works, and fingers crossed how good it is. But we're going to now switch to where the power pack was on here, to the front of the van, because if you can see over there, the passenger seat is out. The power pack is now being lifted into the vehicle and bolted into the vehicle, where we're going to tune into next to see how it's all, fingers crossed, fitted into the vehicle. So, passenger seat has come out, 3 bolts and a nut, very easy to get out. What we have done here, I've got the popcorn ready for the cinema. You know what I mean? I'm thinking ahead, you see. Anyway, some people will say, oh, you haven't put that right, you haven't put that in the right position. That's wired into my best abilities. I will, on this video, say I am not a qualified electrician. I am not giving out advice. I have Googled everything you see here and taken research over the 8 to 10 years I've been in the business of how to do things right and wrong. And I've done some things wrong in the past, and I've done a lot of things right in the past. That, to me, is fused in more places than it needs to be and works like a dream. So let's switch back round and go in there. So inside of here, there's a lot going on in a small space. We're going to start from the basics. We have got an isolator switch with a voltage reader. That there will cut all the power. That is the one isolator I've got on here for the main unit. Just going to leave it on. That's going to do its own thing. Then we've got the lithium battery, which I was talking about. So we're going to get the phone out now and show you the app, and it'll just bring up everything you need. So at the moment it's got 59%. We haven't really ran it. That's the battery come out of the box at 59%. I did test the projector yesterday just to make sure the power and everything the projector was absorbing was right on here, which was 43 watts, which is exactly what the projector is. I ran the projector for an hour on max settings, max volume, and it used 1% of the battery. That's no lie. So that's the app. I could have put a shunt in the negative cable and got a Victron shunt to make basically the Victron app have 3 different devices. I'm not doing that. Let's just use the manufacturer's one. We'll have no problems. That's the battery. Lithium batteries can be mounted up or on the side. This one's very good. It's built in Bluetooth, and like I've said before, if it gets too cold, it'll heat itself up because it's got to be at a temperature for it to turn on and run it at sort of optimum outputs and voltages. Then we're moving on to the mini fuse board that's in here. So we've got linked into there the front lights for the roof, the back lights for the roof, the USB chargers for the sides and the rear, and then the projector's on its own fuse as well. There's another, I don't know, 7 outlets, so if we do want to add any more 12-volt outlets, just run the wires in, positive, negative, and away you go. Then we're going to move on to the solar. So the solar comes in through the roof, which we've all seen, down the channel, along, into here. So this is that 60 amp breaker box. If we want to do any work and isolate the solar, we're going to flick that up, flick that down. Solar is now off. It's cut off, coming into the solar controller, charger, and everything else. But we're going to flick it back on because we don't need it off. Moving on to that, this is your solar charger. So this basically looks after itself, brings the current in from the roof, then passes it through into your battery. That there runs off the Victron app. So if we go to smart solar, click on it, loads up the data here. So at the moment it will say nothing's happening because we're inside. It's just reading the current voltage of the battery and everything like that. When it is pulling stuff in, these LED lights will light up. You ain't gonna look at that. You're just gonna look at this. It's state of play at the moment off because we're indoors. That's the reason why. I had it outside yesterday in the rain and it was still pulling 20 odd watts or something like that. And it was pretty dark. So that is the app for that. And then we've got the isolated, non-isolated DC charger. So when the vehicle's running, which I will do in a second, that'll pull all the current from the vehicle data and the battery data, and it'll turn itself on and off, charge the battery up itself. Pretty simple. That, in a nutshell, is our electrical management system fitted in under the passenger seat. Now there is some really good companies out there that'll give you a board with everything linked on nicely to go, I don't know, in a cupboard in the back of the vehicle. We couldn't opt for that because we wanted to custom make this for under the seats because we're not having any storage in the back due to the seat layout and getting mountain bikes in. So I've made this myself. Everything is being wired up myself. I've done a neat enough job as I can. There is a couple of wires down the back there to tie up once we get the seat in, but I don't want to shorten them until I get the seat in because if they're too short, we've got problems and I don't want to put extensions in or connections. As it stands, that is everything bolted in the vehicle and now it's running off its own battery pack. So I'm happy with it. It got tested yesterday. It runs like a champ. I'm just going to jump in the car now, in the van, turn it on just to show you this charging up and stuff like that. Right, so I'm going to keep that there and hopefully it'll do its own little job. That'll drop and move because obviously we just took a load of load out the battery, and then hopefully it'll go to on in a minute. There we go. So it's on bulk charge. That's now got the vehicle battery at 14 volts because the alternator's on, so it's giving it max current, and then it's going to give me 13.5. And as you can see through the readout, it's 13.4. I can live with a discrepancy of 0.1. So yeah, 13.5 going into it. It's lost 0.1 going into it. Oh, there it's gone up to 5. So that means everything's working in harmony. That now, if we left it running and went back onto the battery app, it's obviously gone up to 13.4, which is what's coming in. That battery now is getting charged off the vehicle running. So every time we're doing miles in the van, that is getting topped up. Every time we've stopped off, the vehicle's off, the solar panel is charging up. So regardless if the van's on or off, we're getting charged into that battery. And I was quite surprised yesterday at running that projector for an hour on full volume, full resolution. It dropped 1%. which for me, I think it's really good. I've also left everything on last night. Not the lights, but the projector power upgrade we had to put in, and all the LED readouts in the back. Battery didn't move anything. It still stayed at 59% when I left it last night to this morning. So I would say electrical management system is complete. That's my way of doing it. People will do it a lot differently. People will say it's a bit too condensed, it's going to overheat. The only issue we're going to have is the inverter, which is quite buried. That is going to be only on, pulling about 150 watts now and then when I need it. The rest of it looks after itself. Plenty of airflow going through. Also, we can open up the back of the bulkhead because the door's still on that. That's going to give us access into the back of that small fuse board. But realistically, if there's any issues or any main fuses we need to get to, flick the front seats up, straight in on top of it to isolate anything. I'm happy. I hope you are. That's how I've designed and fitted. If you like it, if you want any more information on how I've done that, because not many people do fit all that underneath the driver's seat, or passenger seat, sorry, I will share some secrets about how to do it. Next is the floor and the wooden flooring. That's going to take some time, but we are going to try and get it smashed out this week. So we've got the floor bolted in yesterday, a little bit of GoPro footage of that going in. Very complex. There is bolts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14, but some of them aren't full bolts through the floor plate, some of them are riv nut, and that is to take the bike tray so it can then pass a bolt through the bike tray, through the floor, into the vehicle floor. So that's bolted in. We've then got some 9mm ply. We've drawn up this part of the floor. The join is here, so we've overlaid the join so we're not got two joins on top of each other. When we come and put the final floor on, because the 9mm is going to take us up nice to the same height as the bolts and the washers, and then when we get our 15mm finished board on, that's going to take us to the top of the rails. So this morning I have just drawn roughly, you don't want to see it, looks like a kid's done it, but that's how I do my drawings, and they come out looking like that. So I've done this section, we're going to get that cut, some sticker flex down on the floor pan and some of the wood fillers at the bottom, bond it down, and then we've got some small self-tapping countersink screws that we're just going to make sure it is firmly fitted. 90% of the sticky business is going to be off the sticker flex, 10% with the screws is just to keep the sticker flex where I want it to be, wood move. Sticker flex takes a little bit of time to go off, but hopefully in the next couple of hours we should have a wood floor 1. Before we go on to wood floor 2, which is the final wood floor. Setting that all aside, because we wanted something different, I've drawn and designed this lovely mount. Because the Nebula projector, which is really good, doesn't come with any sort of fixings to mount it on anything. So we've decided we're going to build one to the top of the van. We've had a couple of goes at it, as you can see here. And the reason for that is it's got to be at an angle. This is sloped, so when that sits in the van, it's going to point the projector slightly upwards, we hope. So today, 9mm ply floor number 1 installed, projector fully installed. I'm going to get back on my hands and knees. There's me drawing. Looks like one of my kids has done it. Well, you remember what that looks like, and when I put it on the machine, you'll go, it looks about right. And if it doesn't fit, it's your fault. The orange has come outside, the floor is in. We're going to show you that in a minute, but we've just had delivery of this brand new T7. That is having a triple rail system and a double swivel seat fitted by us today. So we're going to get cracking on that. This has been pushed outside, but I've managed to get that floor in. 9mm ply, with bringing it up higher by about 1.5mm to the fitting bolts. So we've got a nice, flat, solid surface. I've got to modify these drawings to basically have the 4 slots out, and there's going to have 4 holes, which we've pre-riv nutted in to take the bike carrier when we build that. But as it stands, that's outside, that's setting, glued, it's screwed, it's great. I'm happy with it. Next time you see that, we're going to be designing the finished floor and getting that installed. But now we're going to go inside, get our hands dirty with chopping some legs off the brand new van seat. Goodbye. The floor is in. Actually putting the floor in, finished floor, took 25 minutes. The preparation has took a long time. Wanted to make sure the subfloor was level, flat and strong, which we got. We then also wanted to make sure the two joins which we've got here were perfect. The routed in step was perfect, because that's going to be taking one of these light channels which is nice and flush, which is going to look amazing when that runs through the van. The courtesy light comes on, that's going to run down there, along the bottom of the bulkhead and down the side of the vehicle. And when the bike tray is mounted, it's going to shine underneath the bike tray and like give a bit of a halo effect, which I think is going to look awesome. As for fitting, it's gone better than what I wanted it to. It looks really neat, and it just finishes the floor off. It's solid, it's level. I'm happy with it. So that's how I fit the van floor. Just took a little bit of time, wiggle room, adjustments here and there, but hopefully when we get the seats in and everything, it'll just tie in nicely. We are going to be making a step lip for this and the side door out of the brushed stainless we're going to be using for the top covers for here, just so it's all in keeping and matching, but also hard wearing. So as it stands, that has got to be left now for a long time. Ideally 24 hours. I don't want to move the vehicle. I just want to let all that sticker flex adhesive bond where it needs to be, so we've got a nice hard surface to walk on. Don't know what we're going to move on to next. Bobby's going to be running the channel in and then the LEDs and join them into the control panel. We're waiting for some more of the aluminium extrusion coming to fill that wider gap, and then the narrower stuff along where the bulkhead is and down the side. That is the floor fitted. I'm over the moon with it. It's been a labour of love, but the effects, as you can see, I think look tremendous. Right, we'll come to the end of this video. The flooring's in. My knees have took a hammering, but the look we've achieved is above my expectations. So let's have a quick look of what it looks like now it's finished. So we've routed in the LED light strips. So we've got a wider one for the centre of the floor and a slightly narrower one to go around the plinth at the bottom. There's a couple of little covers I need to put on. I have just installed and wired them up to the courtesy lights today. So on the button, they'll fire on, or when the doors open, they'll come on for a set amount of time and turn off. That there just lifts the floor. It obviously brings out the hex resin top coat that's on there. And in all fairness, I think it looks tremendous. I'm very happy with it. A lot of work's gone into that floor this week to get the subfloor in, which you've seen, and the finished floor, make sure it's all level. Because that joint in the middle is 2 bits of wood. And obviously to get that thin light strip in, so it's got to be perfectly level, the right width, the right height, so everything runs over lovely and smooth. And that is the outcome you can get. It's not rocket science, it's not hard work, it's just take your time with it. It took a bit longer, like the whole van has, but in all fairness, go back to the start of this series of building this van from a panel van. Inside of there now is looking tremendous. I'm not a camper van builder, I'm a metal worker. I build camper van seats that turn into beds, which you all know about. I'm delving into the camper van side of things again for my own personal use. If I can do it, anyone can do it with a little bit of help, a little bit of knowledge. Don't be scared to ask for help or ask questions, and you can get an outcome like that with pretty basic stuff. Yes, we have used some high-end CNC cutting machines and all that, but there's a lot of them out there. Do your drawings, take to someone, let them cut it for you. At the moment, the electrics have been powered up now continuously for a week. Everything's working, solar panels are working great. Unfortunately, we've got no seats. They've been removed. They've gone up to Spartan Upholstery up in Rotherham. We're a little bit strained in there, so I didn't want to drop all this onto them. Plus, he is a lot better at doing front seats than what we are. When we get them back, they're going to look amazing. I've given him the colour scheme. He's pulled the face at it because it is random. So you will see these the first time I see them. And it's going to be like Marmite. And I hope it's going to go the way I want it, so it looks cool. If not, I've wasted a lot of money. But everything else I've done has come out to me vision in my head, and that's the way it looks. I'm happy with it. Next week is going to be a slow week because we've got no seats, but hopefully we can get the sideboards on, our side steps installed, a couple of little odds and sods bits. Maybe get the stainless trims down on the top of the rails and the doorstep fitted as well. But next week is going to be a bit more of a shorter week because of the upholstery situation and everything else. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. I have now, it's done, but the floor Monday or Tuesday it was getting hard work with all the measurements. But there you are. Do you like it or do you hate it? Let us know. It's projector time. The projector is 99% installed. It's playing behind these doors. I'm going to show you straight into it how good this looks. And there you have it. That's took a few weeks with the wiring and working things out, but the projector is playing. The Nebula projector has got everything fitted in you want, YouTube, Netflix, all the rest of it. We've also got the HDMI cable running down the side of the van with an outlet up front. There's going to be a 240 just below it so you can plug your Xboxes into it. So when you're on your travels, you can sit there, play your Xbox or your PlayStation or your Nintendo Switch, all the rest of it. But that, with the flooring, with the blinds, looks absolutely amazing. I don't want to talk about it anymore because that speaks for itself. So we'll come to the end of this video. If you want to see how we've got to this stage, go back to the previous episodes from the start where it was a panel van and we were drafting out the layout and what we wanted to spec this van with. That's the end of this episode. The floor's in, the projector's on. It's starting to look how I envisioned it 4 or 5 weeks ago. And hopefully you see what I was saying 5 weeks ago inside my head of what a van can be for my needs, but it might also be for your needs as well, or half it might be. Next step, which we might run into in the next episode, is we have got an Xbox in the showroom, haven't we? Let's get the Xbox down. Let's wire the 240 inverter. Let's plug it into that. Let's see if the inverter is going to power the Xbox, and let's see if we can have a game of Call of Duty or something in the van. Let's have it. That's what we're going to do next week, yeah? Sound like a plan? There we are. Tune back in next week if you want to see a little bit of Xboxing in the back of the van.